Hello Year 1. Today I'm going to show you how to make a vehicle. If we'd have been in school this week, that's what we'd have been doing. So we've talked a little bit about vehicles at school and what kind of vehicles we can have, and now we're going to try and make one of our own. So I have two vehicles here that belong to my children when they were little. I've got a car here that used to belong to my daughter, and a train here that belonged to my son. So we've got two different kinds of wheels and axles, and on this one, I'm not quite sure if you can quite see that, the wheels are fixed and it is the axle that moves. So here the axle, the long rod that fixes the two wheels together, is fixed to the wheels, and when the wheels move, the axle turns round inside these axle guides. On this toy, the axle is fixed and it is the wheels that spin round. So the wheels spin round independently of the axle underneath. What we're going to do is we're going to try and make a vehicle with a moving axle and fixed wheels. Okay, I'll just put these over here. So, to start with, I hope you'll be able to find these things around your house. I've certainly got lots of things around my house that we're going to use. So, I had a cardboard box, which I have just cut a little bit off, and I'm going to use an egg cup to draw around some circles, and I'm going to make 4 wheels, drawing round and cutting them out of the cardboard. If you don't have some cardboard, you might have a milk carton, and you can cut out some circles from a milk carton if you use some reasonably sharp scissors, or if a grown-up starts up a hole for you. And you could just draw around something again and cut out 4 circles to make your wheels. If you're feeling really clever, you could possibly use some milk carton lids, but you will probably need a grown-up to help you make a hole in that because they're much thicker plastic. So the first thing we need to do is to turn a box. You might need a grown-up to help you, but I'm going to show you how to do this. Here I've just got a toothpaste box because it's what I had to hand, and I'm going to very carefully undo the glue on the end and open up the box. So now I have a box with 2 ends that are open. If you look carefully around the box, you will see that there's a seam on one side of the box, and you can undo the glue by putting your finger carefully down the box and open this up. Now this part of the process isn't essential, but it does mean that you will be able to decorate and paint or colour your box afterwards, because the inside is not shiny, it's matte and it's easy to draw on or to paint, whereas the outside of the box is shiny and paint won't stick to it. So once it is flat, you might be able to fold it back the other way. You might need a grown-up to help you do this. And with a stapler or with some masking tape, you can make the box up again in the other way. So it is now reversed so that the matte side, the card side, is on the outside of the box and the shiny bit is on the inside of the box. Again, this is a little bit tricky, but a grown-up could help you with that. If you don't have a stapler, you could use masking tape. If you use sellotape, you won't be able to paint over it or draw on it, but masking tape, if you have some, would be okay. So there, I have turned my box. Okay, so I've got a box that I've turned here. You can see it's an old tissue box with a hole in it where the tissues come out, but I'm going to use it this way up so we won't see that hole. This is where the wheels and the axles are going to go. So now we need to attach the wheels onto the axles. So I have cut out 4 circles from my cardboard box that I had earlier, and my box happened to have a very pretty inside, so I'm going to leave my wheels like that. But your box might just look like this on both sides, and you'll be able to draw the wheels or the pattern of a wheel on afterwards with felt tip pen or paint. But we need to create a hole first to feed the axle through. So we've done this in school before. You will need a blob of blue tack and stick that to the table. It needs to be quite a big blob because you're going to pierce the hole with a pen. So stick your wheel onto the top of the blue tack, and with the top of a biro you're going to very carefully find the middle, and you're going to push the biro into the blue tack, whoops, and that will make a hole in your wheel. You can't quite see that, but if I show you with a kebab stick, you'll see that I've now got a hole that goes all the way through my wheel. Okay, I'm going to do that with all of my wheels. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to make an axle. Now, you at home might have some drinking straws. I've got one here. You could make an axle with a drinking straw. You just need to make sure that it goes slightly wider than the edge of your box. So I might want to chop mine off about here. So if you have a look, my straw now just comes slightly outside both sides of my box. Okay, if you're going to use a straw as an axle, you will also need a little bit of stiff paper or card, and you will need to cut 2 or in fact 4 little strips to stick your axles on. These will be your axle guides. So just like you learnt to do in reception, you're going to use a pen or a pencil, and you're going to roll your paper around the pen to make it have a curl in it. You used these when you were doing your sea pictures in reception last year. So you need to make it look a little bit like a mountain with 2 flat bits, the mountain bit in the middle. I'll just do that once more for you. So you get your pen, put your paper around your pen and roll it a little bit so that it bends in the middle. Then you're just going to fold it up at the sides so that you have your flat bit, your mountain in the middle, and your other flat bit on this side. Okay, we are going to use these to stick onto our box. So first thing we need to do is get the straw and feed it through your holes in your wheels. You might need to make those a little bit bigger, push the pen in a little bit further because the straw is quite wide. And you will fit both of those wheels onto your axle. There we go. So we are going to place the axle guides onto the bottom of the box like this, and we're going to stick them with some sellotape at the top and the bottom. Okay, it's a bit fiddly, so I'll just lay that down whilst I'm doing that and I will show you. So the flat bits that you created are for you to stick the sellotape on. If I show you, and you see here and here is where you will stick the sellotape. I'll just do the one on the other side. So very carefully. Okay, as you can see here, now the axle and the wheels will turn round inside those axle guides. Okay, so very quickly I will stick the other two on. You need to make sure that there is plenty of room for the axle to turn without getting caught in the axle guide. But if you've used a pen or a pencil to make your round bit of your mountain, that should work really well. There we go. And you see, so we now have a vehicle which actually moves. The wheels are fixed to the axle and the axle is turning within those axle guides. So now you can decorate your vehicle. Now I'm going to show you a different way to make wheels and axles and a different kind of axle guide. I'm going to use a wooden kebab stick, and let me show you why. I'm going to use my straw as an axle guide, so I'm going to stick my my kebab stick through the straw, which means that I can fix the straw onto the box with some sellotape. So I will be sticking the straw onto the box so that the straw, which is the axle guide, will stay in place. It won't move. I'm going to put my kebab stick down the middle, and you can see that I can thread my wheels onto the kebab stick. Okay, you will see that my kebab stick is way too long, so this is something a grown-up will have to do because it's quite tricky to cut. I'm going to leave my kebab stick sticking out a little bit either side of the straw, and I'm going to be really strong and cut my kebab stick with my very sharp scissors. There we go. So I might have a problem because my wheels might fall off the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my blue tack again, and I'm going to put a blob of blue tack on either side of my axle, which will just act as a little stopper to stop the wheel coming off. So there we go. I've got my axle guide, which is the straw, my axle, which is the kebab stick, and my wheels with my stoppers on the end to stop them coming off. So all I need to do now is make my other axle and wheels, and we'll nearly be ready to go. Here we have my vehicle with 2 axles, 4 wheels, and hopefully you can see that it actually rolls along. Now I can decorate my box. I could maybe make it look a little bit more like a car. I could add a bit on the top. I could make it look like a tractor maybe, or a lorry, a truck. I might even decorate it to look like, I've used a lid there, look, to look like a police vehicle or an ambulance. I could stick another box on the top of it to make it look really flash, and glue those together and then paint the whole thing. I'm sure you'll come up with some brilliant examples, and I would love to see your vehicles if you upload them to Seesaw. Thank you. I hope to see some of you soon. Bye.